right, well, I know you have 5 Ps for performance. Can you talk us through these 5 Ps?
Well, I think this leans after you feel incorporated, or the third stage we previously spoke about. Once you're now settled in, you can do, in my mind, these 5 Ps or 5 performance areas that will help you to make a success of your first year. And I mean, there's lots of statistics that is evidence if you made a success of your first year, especially the first time around, you're likely to make a success of the rest of your studies. The first one is to prepare. Quite often, in my experience in higher education, students sometimes borderline detest orientation because they feel that the topics that are covered are irrelevant, or they don't need it, or they're not big and they don't want to participate, or it's not formal studies. So the first piece of advice for me is to prepare by participating in as many activities as you can. Go to orientation. Even if 50% of the topics you find boring, there will be something that will help you get into that higher education or university life. The second one is to have a positive attitude. We all were at university, and there was always that 1 or 2 subjects that you really didn't like, or you didn't see it being relevant to your qualification. Change your attitude. You've enrolled for a qualification, you want to obtain that qualification, and even if you don't like 1 or 2 modules, or sometimes even a lecturer, you know what? It's not always about the content or about the lecturer. There's a reason for a module being included. So change your attitude towards specific modules. Look at it in a positive light, positive attitude. The third one is planning. And this is not a big project plan, it's basic planning. A young person can sit down, say, where do I want to be in 3 years' time? What do I want to do? And how am I going to get there? Simple things. I'm going to study for 2 hours a day and stick to that. That's part of a plan. So you need to plan your life. Importantly, plan your social life as well, because university life is not meant to be without any social life. I mean, life is not supposed to be without social life. So even plan that. Have a plan in place and try and stick to it. The fourth one, the fourth one is participation. Now, everybody's going to tell you class attendance. It's not just about class attendance. Class attendance is important, but then it doesn't just mean you have to physically sit in class. Ask those questions. Young people often think, well, I'm going to ask a stupid question. There's no such thing as a stupid question, because if you have a question, 20 or 30 or 40 other people will have the same question. That's a proven fact. And also participate outside the classroom. Participate in activities or the activities in your campus, be it sports, social, anything of that. Try and participate as much as possible. Final one, which is a little bit less tangible, is to build your profile. There's nothing worse in life, be it at school or at university or in your place of work, that people have a negative perception about you. And this is something you have control over. About the only thing that you have 100% control over is how other people see you. So build your profile. Try and show leadership skills. You don't have to be the top leader in the institution, but in your own way, show that you can lead, that you can manage yourself, that you are positive in that approach, that you want to succeed, even if you sometimes don't succeed. Build a good profile. The very least that it can bring you is a good reference from the institution. You apply for your first job, you go to the institution and you say, please give me a reference. The worst thing that can happen to you is an institution issuing with a reference that says, yes, this person was a student here from this year to that year, because that talks or says so many words. So what you want is that this person was participative, this person showed leadership skills, this person showed X profile that may be appealing to the job market. Nowadays, for example, many programs that are being accredited in education requires a form of work placement. Now, even if it's unintentional, your student with the right kind of attitude will automatically get better placements. Or the opposite, the student who really has a bad attitude is not going to get the best placement. So if you follow those 5 steps, prepare yourself, have a positive attitude, plan your studies, participate in as many things as you can, and build your own profile. There is no reason why you wouldn't or shouldn't be successful during your first year of study as well as the rest of your studies.
Now, before our students get to those 5 Ps, they're definitely in a transition stage. And you've mentioned that they can experience depression, anxiety, because of the things that come with transitioning. What are some of the common ways that depression and anxiety would present themselves so that any student watching might recognize it if it happens?
Well, different people react differently to those emotion stages. If I understood your question correctly, what are the symptoms? Worst case scenario, things like drug abuse. Depression can also lead to non-participation. You're not going to class because you're not feeling well. You would get sick more often. So there's a whole lot of symptoms around this depression anxiety stage that one can, to an extent, control.
How do we get through those symptoms? How can students work through those and move towards being that model student you were just describing when you were speaking about the 5 Ps?
All right. I think the first thing, if students are aware of those stages, they must, prior to it happening, know, or try and know at least, that they're going to feel separated, that they're going to feel different. Then they, one step closer to dealing with feeling different, because they would know it's normal. The worst thing that can happen to anybody in life, if you feel abnormal or I'm not happy and everybody else around me appears to be happy, and that will exaggerate or exacerbate that feeling. So if you're aware of the fact that it's normal, you feel that way, and it's likely that everybody else around you feel that way, you're likely to cope with it better. You may even talk to the other person, say, you know what, I feel really lost, I'm away from home, do you feel the same? And that way a support system, unintentional support system, will be built up. But of course, outside support, your family or your friends that may not experience that at that stage, if you have an older brother or sister at university still, those people can also get involved in helping you to overcome those first 2 stages and not fall in a trap of being depressed or anxious, etc.
Now, what can any parents or teachers do to help get students through this transition phase?
I think as far as your school teachers, they can't really do much once you're there. But I think in a subject like life orientation at school or career guidance at school, it will be very good, a very positive approach, if teachers can talk matric students through, or matric pupils through, these stages and help them to understand. So that, in my opinion, is where the schooling system can support. As far as the parents are concerned, that's more longer term. You know your child better than other people. You know from a very young age how they deal with change, and depending on your knowledge as a parent about how your child normally deals with change, you will be able to support them. But again, in my opinion, things like telephone calls more regularly and asking them to talk about it, and also telling them, even if you as a parent don't know this as a fact, tell them that the other students feel the same. It is likely that the student will say, well, no, everybody else is happy, but as a parent, just be persistent in providing that support.